All right, guys. So a little time to sink in now. A couple of days. Rob Lewis, kind of when you look at this Tennessee draw, number 4 seed in the East region, taking on Louisiana on the nightcap for Thursday. A couple of days out from initially Selection Sunday. Kind of what are your thoughts on how Tennessee got picked for this NCAA tournament?
I don't have a problem with the seeding at all. Grant, I don't know if you do, but I felt like that. You kept hearing 3 seed, 3 seed, 3 seed. That always felt a little high to me, or at least it felt high to me these last couple of weeks. And I know some fans are like, you beat Kansas, you beat Alabama, you beat Texas. I mean, I don't know that nobody has 2 wins over a number 1 seed and a number 2 like Tennessee does. So I get it. The body of work is impressive, but to me, it's a team that went 5-7 from February 1st until now. And I don't have a problem with a 4 seed. I think it's pretty accurate. And Rick Barnes didn't seem to have a problem with a 4 seed.
No, and if 2 shots don't go in, you're probably a 3 seed. If you win at Vanderbilt, if you win at Missouri, I mean, that's just kind of what it is. That's basketball. It felt like Lenardi was the only one that was hanging on to that 3 seed basically up until the last day before in the morning of Selection Sunday. It's like he flipped them to a 4 in the middle of the night, Saturday night, and then they were back to a 3 for a little bit on Sunday. So it felt like, and everybody else it felt like had them as a 4. So they've been trending that way for a while. Then Zakai gets hurt, obviously, second to last game of the regular season. Like Rob said, you're 5-7. They earned a high seed based on what they did against Texas, against Alabama, against those Kansas, those type of teams earlier in the year. But they also earned kind of dropping a couple spots. I mean, they're on the number 1 seed line for Lenardi probably 2 months ago. They're on the number 2 for a while. They're on the number 3 forever. It felt like as much as they earned a high seed, they also earned dropping a little bit by the way they closed the regular season.
Great. Tell us about Louisiana a little bit, a little scouting report. I know, Rob, you'll have a preview piece coming out and everything, but they got some talent, the former 5 stars on that roster. What about the Raging Cajuns?
Jordan Brown some more. I mean, he's 6'11", 225. He was a 5-star, committed and signed to Eric Musselman at Nevada. He was at Nevada until Muss left. So I guess that was after his freshman year. He transferred to Arizona. He was sat out for a year there. Then he was the 6th man of the year in the Pac-12. His second year at Arizona, then Sean Miller gets fired. So he ends up transferring again. He goes to Louisiana where his dad played really well in the 80s. I think he was the number 2 leading scorer for the program when he left there. So that's why he, I guess, ended up at Louisiana. It felt like he had a breakout year last year, averaging like 15-8 or something like that. This year he's closer to 19-9. So everything they do is going to go through him. They don't shoot a ton from 3. They're not, they have the greatest offensive numbers. So I think matchup-wise, draw-wise, it could have been a lot worse for Tennessee. But you're either going to have to stop Jordan Brown or you're either going to have to give him his 20 and 10 and hope you can stop everybody else and not let them do anything and hold Louisiana to 60 or less and just outscore.
Rob, is it fair? I mean, there's some chatter out there at the beginning of this week that the most vulnerable 4 seed out there is Tennessee, and I understand why, so I guess I'm answering the question. I think it is fair, but do you like Louisiana as a trendy upset pick in that 4-13 matchup on Thursday?
No, I don't. But I mean, I see where people are making it. No. I really do. I don't. I just, I'm not selling Tennessee that short. I mean, this is still a competent team. This is still, despite what we saw on Friday against Missouri, it's still a team that's very capable of playing good defense. And I think that's what will be the difference on Thursday is Tennessee's defense. Again, Grant kind of covered the Jordan Brown factor. He's the real deal. But I mean, you got to have more than that guy, than one guy to really, I think, give this Tennessee defense problems. They shoot it okay from outside, a little less than 35% for 3. I mean, I think this is a team that will have to make a lot of threes to beat Tennessee. And I mean, it can happen. Missouri just made 12, 13. Mm-hmm. They made 14 when they beat Tennessee in Knoxville. So it's not like Tennessee, can't be had that way. But this Louisiana is not a prolific 3-point shooting team. They've got one guy that's made 53. That's the only guy that's over 50 on the year. So I can see why people are looking at Tennessee as a bit of a wounded animal and a trendy upset pick, but I think they definitely have enough to get by on Thursday. Now we'll see. I could obviously be wrong.
Rob, kind of what was the mood around campus earlier this week? I had a chance to catch up with Rick Barnes. I know both of you guys did, along with the rest of the media. I talked to some players. What are their thoughts on the 4-seed draw and here in the East region with their matchup against Louisiana, potentially Duke and or I guess it's not an and, it's an Oral Roberts on Saturday?
Grant, I think it's surprisingly upbeat. I mean, did you get that impression from talking with the guys? I know Josiah seemed in pretty good spirits. The head coach, who can be a little bit all over the map, was excited. I mean, it just seems like it feels like a new start is how they're looking at it.
Yeah, it feels like, I think they said 0-0, something like that, 4-team tournament, whatever. Go in and try to win a 4-team tournament the first weekend, then you get the second weekend, it's another 4-team tournament. Et cetera, that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's been a rough go in the NCAA tournament for them in recent years, especially for this class, Josiah, and these seniors. So I guess they would be itching to get another shot at it. If they do get to Saturday, it's the Duke Oral Roberts matchup gives me pause. I don't know that I want either of those teams right now with the way Duke's playing and the way Oral Roberts has played the entire season, and they've been here and done that before. But given the Louisiana draw, given the 4 seed, given what could happen in the second round in Orlando, yeah, I would agree 100%. Upbeat, positive. Rick Barnes was talking about he wanted his guys to just have confidence. You don't really change much this time of year. He said that sends the wrong signal to your players. You just want them to kind of keep doing what they're doing. And if anything, they didn't play well as a whole. I thought, in the second half against Missouri, but I thought 2 days in Nashville, they shot the ball well, they scored the ball well. Eliminate some turnovers, eliminate some defensive lapses, and you're a pretty good basketball team. Missouri, for whatever reason, seems to give them fits, and that's a matchup nightmare. But even coming off of that, I felt like offensively, shot making and stuff like that, it felt like they made a little bit of progress. I don't know. I might be crazy there.
Rob, you wrote this in your 3-2-1 Monday morning, pretty much giving Tennessee the benefit of the doubt, at least for the first weekend, because they have seniors, because this is a veteran-led team. Obviously, you're putting some stock into Tennessee, having guys who have been there, done that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. Now, it didn't look that important Friday afternoon in Nashville, so
yeah.
I maybe need to reevaluate it. But I do. I mean, I think having guys like Santiago, like Josiah, Olivier, even Uros is not a starter. I mean, you just got a bunch of guys that have been in this thing before, and even I think that'll pay benefits on Thursday. I think that would pay benefits on Saturday if they're playing Duke. I mean, Duke's a super talented team, but they've got a bunch of kids that are freshmen that have never been in here before. And I know Duke is hot as all get out right now, but I kind of like Tennessee's chances in that matchup. I think Tennessee will make it so ugly and so tough for them to score. I don't know if their young kids are ready for the kind of just street brawl that would be.
Yeah, kind of on that, Grant, Rob pretty much just answered that question for me, but who should Tennessee want in the second round?
Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I've just stared at Oral Roberts too much, and maybe I'm thinking too much of that COVID bubble tournament when Max Amos kid went off, and they were a 15 seed, and beat Ohio State, went to the Sweet 16, almost went to the Elite Eight. They gave Arkansas really a game down to the final possessions in that Sweet 16. So Duke's really good, or at least they're playing really well at the right time. But also the ACC is pretty average. It's a pretty down year for that league, considering what it is used to year in and year out. And the SEC just put in 8 teams, tied for the most, I believe, in the field. So the SEC is really tough. The ACC is really kind of average. And Duke won that tournament, and they played well down the stretch. But there's also a lot of nights where Duke looked really, really average as well, and looked like they were struggling. In the first year without Coach K and John Shire taking over there. So I don't know. I kind of agree with Rob that maybe you want Duke and maybe you can muck it up a little bit, but I don't think if Oral Roberts wins that, there's usually a 5-12. There's usually a 12 that advances. I don't think either one of them is going to be a walk in the park, especially for a Tennessee team that's got some demons in the second round.
I wouldn't go that far, man. I would say you always went Oral. Or check that. You always went the 12 seed instead of the 5 seed. It would be a better way to put that.
Hey, thanks so much for watching the video here at Volquest on YouTube, the leading source of University of Tennessee football, basketball, and recruiting. Be sure to check out our latest video right here and our latest live show right above it. All that at Volquest.com and Volquest on YouTube.